In August of 2018, I lost my mom. This may be the most pivotal time in my rescue because this was the season that I finally found solid ground to root my faith into. I do want to clarify, my mom is still living, but shortly after my dad was released from prison, he assumed that he'd be the sole counselor for our family, as he always had been. And for some of the family, that was perfectly fine, but for myself and my two sisters, that was an impossibility. Our reasons go far beyond the obvious reasons and are just too much for the purpose of this story, but the most difficult part is that we were given a choice. Either accept our dad as sole counselor and be in with our family, or choose not to have him as our sole counselor and just be out. I was not going to share this part of my story, but so many people have approached me and I've been able to have so many real conversations about how important it is to see God show up in difficult situations that I thought to not share the hardest time of my life would just be incomplete. So, full disclosure, this was the most devastating blow of my entire life. Relationship with my dad had been mostly difficult, but my mom and I were really close and our relationship was just suddenly and completely severed. But here was a place where God showed up before I even knew that I needed a rescue. In the summer of 2018, one of my clients showed up to her lesson and she put a little white invitation in my hand and invited me to a Bible study. At the time, I had 3 little kids at home and a thriving business, and I honestly didn't think I had time for another activity. And if I remember correctly, I think I even told her that. But then she told me that my kids would be learning from the Bible too, and I thought I'd better give it a try. Somehow I just knew I needed to take the time to look more carefully into God's word for truth. That was in the summer, and in August of 2018 was when I received the official letter from my parents, making it clear that they were cutting communication from myself and my 2 sisters. In September of 2018, I found myself surrounded in a circle of women in that Bible study that I was invited to, digging into God's word. Not only had I found the truth that I desperately needed, but those women for the next 7 years surrounded me, they prayed for me, they showed up for me, and they were the mothers, they were the sisters and the aunts and the grandmas that I needed and my children needed during that season of our life. And I distinctly remember sitting in that circle, looking around and just thinking, God, you did this. You had this rescue plan before I even knew that I needed it.